Hi, my dear Scorpionic friends. So here is your forecast for 2022. I wanted to make these videos kind of well in advance so you can prepare for the year ahead. I think this year will be definitely affecting you significantly. So I wanted to actually get you ready for the changes in your life, because there will be nodal changes happening, which is going to be triggering your first and seventh house. And also there is going to be a very active period in your sixth house also. So we want to be speaking about that. Now, if you do like the video, please press like. And then if you want to share the content with others, then do so. And also ring the notification bell. You can be notified about my upcoming videos. As well as, if you are interested in learning astrology with me, then go on my website, AstroViktor.com. Check out the subscription plan I put together, because you can actually get free webinars a month for £39. These are about 6-hour lecture altogether, and it's going to be about various topics. By the way, I did make 4 intense videos about the energies of 2022. So I kind of recommend listening to those first. And also it's smart to listen to your sun and moon sign video as well, so to get a round picture altogether. So let's get started. Now, as I mentioned, there are nodal changes happening in 2022, right at the beginning of the year, January 19th, and the south node will be in your first house and the north node will be in your seventh house. So whenever the first and the seventh house axis gets activated heavily in your chart, it does talk about something about yourself and your partner, or your relationship with yourself and the world. Now, of course, the rising sign is ruled by Mars, which will be retrograde and spending 6 months in the sign of Gemini in your 8th house. But also Venus will start the year with retrograde periods. So Venus will go retrograde on the 19th of December 2021 in conjunction to Pluto, and will remain in the sign for 4 months. Now, Venus rules your 7th house. So the year starts with some type of relationship questions, which it brings up to you. So, and of course, the eclipses will trigger your relationship house as well. So it might be about wanting to get married, wanting to get divorced, wanting to build a family overall, or wanting to move together with someone, wanting to get to know someone. Now, I usually say, because Venus rules your 3rd house, it's going to be very much about, the possibility of starting to talk to someone. But during retrograde period, it's also very possible that an ex will be coming back into your life. And therefore, I usually say that exes are exes for a reason. However, if that's your intention, then I would say that slow down in December and January and just have a playful time. Venus will be going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn is all about simplicity and longevity. So it might not be about having all the rose petals in the bed, and when we cannot really stop touching each other. It's more about just the simple little things which makes us happy during the relationship. So Capricorn Venus is all about quality over quantity. So wanting to, I don't know, have a dinner together, wanting to put the phone aside rather than, doing all these extravagant type of things. So these eclipses, South Node will be in your 1st house. So each constellation does have positive and negative manifestation. So actually it's possible to get some type of reward for your past actions. Maybe you have been working on something for a very long time, which have been valuable to you, but you did not see the result coming. Now, actually, the South Node actually can help you in there. It's also appearing in many cases when someone actually gives birth, or unfortunately, even when we lose someone. Now, giving birth and losing someone is not necessarily just about life and death situations, but it does talk about changes. South Node in the first house is very much about letting go of an old self and then creating a new one instead. By the way, giving birth, I think, is possible for you this year, if that's what you wish to do, because Jupiter is still in your 5th house at the beginning of the year. So basically till about May 2022. But giving birth is also about giving birth to a creative project as well. You might become a lot more interested in mysterious things. You might want to be kind of like doing a little bit of a soul search. And that's also very possible because Mars will be transiting your 8th house. That's where it's going to be going retrograde. So therefore spending 6 months in your 8th house. So it could really talk about some karmic healing for you. But typically with the South Node in the 1st and Mars going retrograde in the 8th, some type of crisis situation hits first, and it kind of forces us to dig deeper and then look at the core of every single event, what is happening in our life. I also believe that South Node actually can help you unlock a talent within you. And I kind of believe, again, that is possible because Jupiter is in the 5th house for you, which is all about self-expression and talent. And also Venus will be retrograde in the 3rd house, which is all about coming up with some ideas. But I'm going to be breaking down these transits a little bit more for you. So, of course, having the South Node in the 1st house, meaning North Node is in the 7th. If you are single, it's very possible that you are going to be meeting a great love. And it can be quite unexpected as well, because the North Node in July 2022 will be conjuncting something called a planet called Uranus. But also there will be Mars there at the very same time, and Mars rules you. So it's like you walking into someone 7th house unexpectedly. So, you know, it might be I'm just bumping into this person in the street, and then, you know, we fall in love immediately. So actually, if you are single, this might be the year when you meet someone significant. However, South Node in your 1st house can unlock plenty of emotions. So it could be bringing up things like, why am I dependent on someone, or why do I need other people's approval? And kind of like an emotional turmoil because I don't necessarily have enough self-confidence. I don't believe in my own abilities. And this is going to be something you're going to have to work on, especially when Jupiter is going to be going into the sign of Aries in your 6th house and will be conjuncting Chiron. And that's going to be happening in June, July 2022. So working on your self-worth and changing some of your perspective over life will be very significant. It might be about some type of dissatisfaction in relationship if you have got one, because remember that North Node is all about, in the 7th house, it's all about kind of like laying some foundation down. North Node has got this Jupiterian quality, meaning that it magnifies everything, whatever it touches. So if you are in a relationship, you're going to have to remember why we got together at the first place and how I can build a solid foundation again in my relationship. And of course, in the end, it can bring you a tremendous growth as well, not only in your relationship, but in your personal life overall. When we have got South Node in the 1st house, we do need to face some obstacles in life. You might feel that I cannot really show my potentials. You might feel that I'm trying to attempt to make all these type of good impressions, for instance, in work situations, and then it's just not working. That could be especially the case for you sometimes in October, November, December, when the sun will be joining your South Node as well. So maybe it could be bringing up some career changes. The reason why, because the sun rules your career department. It might be the feeling that, you know what, I want to be changing jobs. I've been doing this for a very long time. I don't know how to get out of it, but I just want to get out of it. South Node in the first house could talk about paying back some karmic debt as well, something which has been weighing on your shoulders for a long time. It could be some spiritual karmic debt, also material as well. So that's possible. But because the South Node in the first house, which represents the body, and you're going to be having Jupiter Chiron conjunction in the sixth house from June 2022 onwards, it really talks about changing something in your surroundings. So changing the way you eat, changing the way you look at your health situation. Have you been a little bit stubborn about it? What type of health regime do I need to actually introduce so that I can have the best version of myself? If something like a gym you would like to start, do so. If you want to be having some type of herbal remedies and drinking tea and kind of like giving up on some of your obsessions and giving up some of your bad habits in a sense. So the habits need to be transformed in a sense. Now, the ruler of your sign is Mars. That's the traditional ruler. And then, of course, the modern ruler is Pluto. Now, Mars, as I mentioned, will be retrograde in your 8th house. It will enter your 8th house around the 20th of August and will remain there till 2023 March, towards the end of March. So this is going to be a very long period. We'll be going retrograde on the 30th of October and then staying retrograde till the middle of January. Now, Mars rules you, and the 8th house is the house which kind of relates to relationship departments. So it can really intensify things in your relationship. It can really actually activate your sexual and sensual life. Actually, this could be a good period of time to do any type of surgeries if you are planning, especially when Mars is direct. So sometimes between October 20th till about, I would say, middle of October, till Mars still has got a little bit of, speed. Once it goes retrograde, I don't necessarily recommend a operation, for instance. It's all about deep transformational healing. So it can actually increase this South Node and Mars in your 8th house can really increase your psychic experiences. So I would be using this time, because Mars will be going retrograde in Gemini, to collect as much data about spirituality as possible, to dig deep, to find the root cause of any type of psychic trauma, and then explore the taboos, and then how you are going to be actually tackling those. Of course, it could be that you're going to be a little bit having more fights about money with your wife or husband. You might feel that you get manipulated by your loved ones, and then you are somehow kind of tired of that. You might feel that you get manipulated by sex or by money, because the 8th house is the financial situation of your partner, kind of like the shared resources. So what we have got in the bank together. So so unfortunately we can have some type of misunderstandings or dealings with money matters as well. Maybe it could actually lead to a breakup also because of money. Typically when Mars is in the 8th house, it kind of drives you to the edges. and you don't necessarily know anymore, you know, which way to go. In extreme cases, this Mars in the 8th house can also bring up divorce, especially I would say that the danger of that is sometimes from July till October onwards. Now, it's also very possible that you're going to be inheriting money this year. So if that's something you expect, it could be happening while Mars is retrograde in your 8th house. But also, you might be just very frustrated because there will be some tax changes. And then you realize that I have to pay more tax, or pay attention that you read up on all these type of changes because it's something you might not know about, and then it bites you back at one point. So 8th house for me is typically about kind of like beginnings and endings in a sense. So that's where the death comes from, but death does not necessarily mean that we're going to lose someone, but a part of us can actually die, meaning that we want to be starting something new. So watch out for, as I mentioned, insurance related things. Don't forget to pay those on time, because 8th house is all about like the police and all these type of ticket collectors, you know, people who are actually checking up on your financial situation. So it's very possible that you get a visit from the tax office, and then you're going to have to prove where things are. Now, Mars is in Gemini, so it's all about documents. Make sure that this year your documents are filed quite nicely. But it is about exploring the mysterious things in life also. So it might be that I'm going to be going for a hypnosis, for instance, or I'm going to be visiting mediums, or I'm going to be just interested in UFOs and all those type of energies. So there is this deep, dark secrets. Now, talking about secrets, because Mars is in Gemini, it might be just that you have got this urge to speak about your sacred duties and sacred desires, as well as your deepest secrets. And that could bring you a transformation, because it's something eventually comes out of your body. And that's why maybe the South Node is in the 1st house, because I let something out of my body. And it could be a karmic burden overall. It could be a very emotionally intense period for you, especially between August and March 2023. It might be something which have been building up for a while, and you might want to be looking at where Mars comes from in your natal chart, because that's where that's where this kind of pressure cooker type of situation could be. Now, Mars also rules your 6th house. So I'd like you to watch out for any type of inflammation, especially when Mars will be in the sign of Aries or Capricorn. Now, Capricorn will be happening at the beginning of the year, so I would be watching out for things in January, February, and March, beginning of March, or when Mars is going to be in the sign of Aries, which is going to be the summer, beginning of the summer. Because Mars will be conjuncting your sixth house cusp, and while it's in Capricorn, it will be actually squaring your 6th house cusp. Ladies, if you have got, for instance, female cycle issues, then it could actually lead up to heavy bleeding. Remember, Jupiter will be in the sign of Aries as well in your 6th house, but you can be a lot more accident prone as well. So something to do with cars or cuts and bruises, you just need to be actually mindful about that too. But ask yourself the question, am I ready to start a diet? Do I have any plans of like maybe a cosmetic surgery? Then I would be choosing a date when Mars is actually in sextile or trine to your 6th house cusp. Especially, I would say the sextile, so being actually in Aquarius, which is going to be in March and April overall. So but with Jupiter and Chiron conjunction in your sixth house is very much about healing some of your everyday duties, right? So because what happens with Jupiter, on one hand, it's positive because we are very optimistic about our health, and kind of like a guardian angel is sitting on our shoulder. So I kind of like that aspect. But on the other hand, this is all about overdoing something. So because Venus will be retrograde in your third house, so it's very possible that we're going to have all these type of new ideas coming up. While Jupiter is in your sixth house, we can start actually manifesting all these type of new ideas, because Aries is all about like a go-getter. It really wants to be getting on with things. It becomes very enthusiastic. It has got plenty of energy to work, but we can overdo things. And then eventually we can easily burn out. And then the body needs to signal to you that something needs to be changed. It's actually possible that you're going to be promoted, for instance, as a team leader or any other type of leadership position, really. It's very possible that somehow your relationship with the co-workers are going to be a lot better, or some co-workers actually will be, you might be having a little bit of an argument with them too. Okay, but typically this would be a little bit more about cooperative work. It's about finding ways to actually expand at work. So maybe it's just the routines are changing, or maybe there is changes happening overall in your work environment, and that could actually burn you out. Especially if you work in the service industry, it might be something that, I start enjoying. Or with the Jupiter and Chiron conjunction, we do need to figure out why I am in the service industry, and maybe just redirecting some of my perspectives over what I exactly do. So Jupiter going into any type of house gives us a source of joy and a possible growth. But before we actually do that, we always need to do a decluttering there too. So if you feel burnt out because of work, then I would say that most probably you should start looking for a new job, and Jupiter can actually give you possibilities for that. I would be probably doing that while the Sun will be in the sign of Aries, because the Sun rules your career planet. I mean, Sun rules over your career department. And Sun will be in the sign of Aries sometimes in April and May. So those could be good months actually to do an ideal job. Now that's also April sounds actually quite good, because there also be a Jupiter and Neptune conjunction happening, still in your fifth house. So it might be, and this is a very rare combination because the very last one happened in 1856. So it's a lifetime opportunity. Now, this could be talking about dreaming as big as possible. So you might actually want to be starting a family, fifth house, as in giving birth to a child, or giving birth to a creative project. So are you thinking about, for instance, having starting a new business? Then actually it's very possible, as I said, from April, May 2022. So you should be using actually the Venus retrograde period in your third house to kind of set up bits and bobs, looking at the paperwork and all those type of things. Of course, once Jupiter goes into your sixth house, which could indicate a new job, unfortunately, it could indicate that you are going to have to work a lot. Okay, but I kind of feel like you will be having the energy for it. Now, from a medical perspective, I love Jupiter in the sixth in a sense, because even if we have got medical issues, it's a little bit easier to deal with. So if you have been if you have had issues for a while, then actually Jupiter might indicate that you meet a doctor who is going to be able to help you on that. So, you know, it's about your daily routines. So make sure you sleep, you eat well, you do some exercise, you work, but there needs to be a balance, because Jupiter will be making you aware of your health routines, surely, and probably with the South Node in the first, Jupiter Chiron in the sixth, you will be a lot more interested in your body. So you might just realize that I'm going to be having a lot more, I'm going to be buying a lot more organic food, or, you know, I'm going to be using some different type of herbs and stuff like that to kind of create some type of remedies for yourself. So that could be quite nice for you. Now, another thing which we wanted to mention is that, you know, with Jupiter in your sixth, you sometimes can let your imagination take over. So, and that could be, you know, lead to confusion. So just watch out for that too, because that might be a little bit of an issue there. Now, those ones, you know, so I did speak about the relationship department already. And so just to summarize a couple of dates, I think February could be a good month if you would like to have a new partner for yourself. I also believe that those who want to be having some type of business negotiations with others, also February could be a very good month for that. I would say that love will be a very prominent topic for those who were born between 23rd or 24th of October. Love definitely will be on the horizon, because once Sun moves into the sign of Scorpio, Venus will be doing the same at the very same time, and there will be a cosimi between them too. Now, Venus rules your seventh house. So that's kind of important to know about that. But Venus also rules your 12th house as well. So it might be that you just want to be letting go of, again, certain type of habits, as well as maybe a relationship, and then you want to be starting a new one. Remember, there will be Uranus, North Node, and Urania conjunction in your seventh house. So that could bring you a sudden relationship. I would also say that those who were born between November 17th to 21st, they might go through a very positive transformation. Pluto actually will be sextiling your sun. So that could be about, and I mean, from a rising sign point of view, if your rising sign is somewhere between 25 to 28 degree. Now, Pluto sextile the sun is a positive transformation in our life, depending on what sun rules in your natal chart, but sun is something to do with your purpose. So if that's your sun sign, it's very much about Pluto empowering you to become who you want to become. It's empowering you to find the right road which you need to be stepping onto. I recommend looking at where what house the sun rules in your natal chart. Those who have got their rising sign between 25 to 28 degree, then it means that the sun is actually ruling your career department. So it would be bringing some type of changes in your career. Now, typically, let me just put it out this way, because this is somehow difficult. Scorpio rising, but Leo on the midheavens. One wants to shine, the other one wants to hide away, right? So it's very possible that the South Node tells you that it's enough to shine. It's enough to hide. Now you're gonna have to come on forefront. and you're going to have to live up to your power. So that Pluto sextile the sun or Pluto sextiling your rising sign could really talk about, yes, this time around, we're going to put down our fear because enough is enough. Okay. Also, those who were born between 1st of November till 8th of November, Sun continuously will be squaring your Sun. So this could bring up, unfortunately, some family matters. Okay, and this could bring up identity crisis situations. So I don't know where I belong anymore. I don't know what my path is. I don't know which way to go. I kind of feel like life is giving me so many tests, and I feel like life is burden. So with Saturn, it's all about just committing to what we've started and to kind of never give up on that. Now, from a rising sign point of view, if your rising sign is falling between 10 to 18 degrees, then Saturn will be squaring your rising sign. Now, Saturn rules your 3rd and the 4th house. So family matters or any type of connections with your siblings could feel like they are blocking you of moving forward. Remember, the South Node will be in your 1st house. Therefore, you know, it kind of indicates that I'm going to have to listen to others as well. I'm not just about my personal development, but I want to see how people pursue in their life outside of myself as well. Jupiter will be in your 5th house till May. So if this is a brilliant time to have fun, to flirt with others, to actually start a new business, or if you want to get pregnant, that's also very possible with Jupiter. So it could be lovely. So, my dear Scorpio friends, that's your yearly forecast for 2022. I recommend listening to the previous 4 videos I made about 2022 and try to put those energies into the house cusp in your natal chart. And if you would like to have a reading with me or Tsweti, then we are available for you. Just go on my website, AstroViktor.com, and you will be able to find the services there. Thank you, everyone, and see you very shortly. Bye-bye.